All right, guys, welcome to episode 32 of my journey to profitability, trading ES futures using order flow. So right now, this is the P&L curve that we have since we started our journey. So as you can see, we have pretty much got back to break even, give or take $1,000. But either way, I would say that that's still a pretty good spot to be in. Obviously, we should be doing way better right now, but the month of October, I lost sight of what got me in the position that I was. If you're new here, basically what happened is I got a funded account. I got my first payout, only $800, but still. And I went from having a balance of $4,800 in my funded account to blowing it. And that was all because I deviated from my trading rules, my plan. And basically this whole month, I've just been trading with a lack of discipline, and it's just been a terrible role model for anyone that's following me along on this journey. But anyway, so yeah, where we're currently at is I got another evaluation for 150K from Top Step. So we're starting fresh. We started fresh today, but I didn't find any setups that I liked today. I would actually say that I probably missed a good short setup today, but it wasn't in my trading plan. So I'm just sticking to my plan and sticking to what got me the funded account and a payout in the first place. So yeah, basically we're starting fresh with a new funded account. I just wanted to walk you guys quickly through plan on doing that. So let me just pull up a Canva real quick and I can visually give you guys a representation a little better. All right, so anyone who follows me knows that I like to have 11 full losses in my account at any given time. So I'm gonna try to draw on this Canva sheet and hopefully it goes well. But all right, so whenever you buy a 150K account, you have a max drawdown of $4,500. So let's just draw that, $4,500. Please try to ignore my terrible drawing skills. So essentially you're paying for $4,500 worth of drawdown. I divide this by 11, which is gonna come out to 11 and a half, but essentially $400 risk per trade is how I like to start these accounts. So I like to start with $400 because it gives me some good room to lose before I hit a winning trade. Most of my winning trades are at least 3.3 R. Most of my winning trades are at least 3.3 R on the low end. Anywhere from 2.8 to 3.3 R is like the minimum that I shoot for. In September, I've been able to get up to like 9.7 R multiple. And I just want to explain why that's possible, because I've had a lot of comments being like, you're shooting for these crazy R multiples. That's not realistic. You shouldn't be doing that. And I want to tell you guys, I want to show you guys how that works. So whenever you're risking a max risk of $400 per trade, that's 2 contracts and that's a 4-point risk. So $400 of risk per trade max. So what I have been doing is, all right, so I always have my stop loss somewhere where my thesis is invalid. So let's say I get an entry and where the trade becomes invalidated is only 2 points away from my entry. So what you're supposed to do is you're actually supposed to size up and still risk the $400. So in this case, if my invalidation point was only 2 points away, what you should be doing is you should be trading 4 contracts, still risking $400 on 2 points. But I was not doing that. I was still trading 2 contracts with a 2-point risk. So what this does is it basically cuts my risk in half. So instead of my trade risk being 400, now it's 200. But let's just say my profit target is still at 12 points or 12 and a half points for the sake of this example. So I'm sure anyone watching this can do the math, but if I have a 2-point risk with a 12 and a half point target, risk to reward becomes a 6 R. So that is why I've had a lot of trades that were above 5 R multiple in the last few months. And I've even had up to a 9, like I said, but I'm never I'm never going into a trade thinking about my R multiple and what I'm shooting for. All I know is I have my profit target, which may be more than 12 and a half points. It may be 10 points, whatever it may be. And then I always try to have my stop loss at a point that invalidates my thesis. So sometimes I'm able to get really tight stops where if I stop out, then I know my trade thesis is an invalid trade, and I'm still able to target certain distances. So like for this example, it was 12 and a half points, but I can just show you guys a lot of these trades from September. I'll just sort them by our multiple real quick. So this is gonna be all of my accounts from when I started this journey, but my best trades were in September. You can see the dates right here. So anything with a 9. So look at this. There's an 8R right here. I hit a 9.2R in the beginning of October. You know, you can look at them for yourself, but essentially that is what allows me to hit those R multiples. I'm not targeting those every time. Like this is what I'm targeting every single time. I'm targeting at least 3.3 or like something around that. Nothing less than 2 ever. To anyone that's like, why is he getting crazy R multiples? It's just because my stop loss is at a place, it's a tighter stop loss, and I still risk the same amount of contract. What you really should do if you are very advanced and confident, I'm not at this point yet, in my opinion, what you would do is you would double up on your size and still risk 2 points. So it would be 2 points for a $400 risk, and then you would obviously make a lot more dollar amount for your profit target according to the dollar amount you're risking on a trade. I haven't done that yet. That is really my goal, to get to that point where I can say, all right, I can identify an opportunity that allows for a 2-point risk, and then instead of trading 2 contracts, I trade 4 and I target the same thing. So just for example, 12-point profit on 2 contracts is what? It's $1,250. So like I said, if I would double the amount I risk and keep my stop loss at 2 points, I would now be trading 4 contracts at a 12-point profit, which is double, which would allow for $2,500 of profit, and it would still be a $400 risk, which according to my plan is my max risk per trade. The whole point is, if you have a fixed dollar amount that you want to risk per trade, if you can get a 2-point risk, you should stick with the dollar amount and you should size up. I said already, I don't do that yet. I just stay at the same size, and I'm comfortable still risking only $200 and still making $1,250. But that's what gets me to those higher R multiples. All right, so real quick, I'll explain to you guys my strategy for trading this evaluation. And like I said, I like to have 11 and a half full losses before I blow the account, which for me is 11 and a half would be 4,500 divided by 11 and a half, which is $400 for a trade. So my plan is to trade 2 contracts until I get to 6,600. And now instead of 11 and a half full losses, I'm going to size up. I want to have 11 full losses just to keep the math less confusing. So until I hit $6,600 profit, then I will size up to 3 contracts, which would be a $600 risk. So that allows for 11 full losses, and then so on. So whenever I want to risk $800, I need to have 8,800, which at that point I'm past the evaluation. So essentially, I will only be scaling up from 2 to 3 contracts, and that will be it for the evaluation. Now, once I get to the funded account again, I'm going to follow the same scaling plan that I just explained to you until I hit 8,800. That's when we scale up to 4, and then from there we move on. So that's how it's gonna work. That's what I like to do. So yeah, with all that being said, I'll catch you guys in the next one.